into a Jewish sect of considerable significance. All Hasidic rabbis are the heirs of the Baal Shem Tov and his pupils. It is told thus. The holy rabbi in a Hasidic village in the Ukraine was seriously ill, hovering between life and death. His Hasidim proclaimed a day of fasting and prayer to bring about his recuperation. Every farmer left his field to join the others in the synagogue, praying for the life of their rabbi. But one single follower of the rabbi, who lived a distance away, had not heard of the special day. He was known as a steady drinker. Entering his favorite tavern at noon, as usual, he demanded his daily ration. The owner refused, explaining the special day of fast and prayer. The farmer left the tavern much chagrined. Raising his eyes and arms to heaven, he called out, "Dear God, hurry up and cure the rabbi, please. You know how much I need my..." I wonder if precisely those qualities are the ones we are proud of. Yes, dear God, one has to admit you are right. You give human beings the freedom to find their own way to you. Thinking it over, perhaps it is better to be a human being rather than an angel, who, after all, is only capable of doing good. The Hasidim crying and begging for God's mercy, the young man placed 2 fingers in his mouth and let out a shrill whistle. The faithful were appalled, but the rabbi admonished them to be thankful, for this direct prayer did reach God, and the gates of heaven opened to admit the prayers of all.
Mono was das aufgehen mit Tachlis, als Schifflos, wer hat Tume, früher dann was in der Brot.
Hasidic thought is contained in parables and anecdotes. The rabbi's stories and sayings are written down by his pupils and then passed on down. Hasidim meet every evening to discuss, to sift, to contemplate the depth of their rabbi's words. The rabbi asked one man, "What would you do if you found a wallet full of money?" "I would return it immediately," the man answered. The answer seems too pat to be sincere, the rabbi thought. He asked the second man the same question. "What a question," said he. "I'd keep the purse, of course." How disgusting, thought the rabbi. This man cannot do the right thing even where hypothetical sums of money are involved. He asked the third man. The man answered with a sigh, "I would beg God with all my heart to let me find the strength to return the money." Aha, thought the rabbi. The rabbi said a chassid has his entire existence riding on one card, his faith. So you shouldn't wonder when a chassid moves his body while praying. A non-swimmer who has fallen into the water does the same in a desperate effort to keep from drowning. The phylacteries contain holy scripture placed on forehead and arm during morning prayer. A man complained to a rabbi about his poverty and distress. "Don't worry," comforted the rabbi. "Pray to God with your whole heart, and in his compassion he will have mercy on you." "But I don't know how I should pray," he replied. The rabbi gazed at him with great pity and said, "You really do have a big problem." The poor man explained, "I cannot pray because I'm not able to read." Work is simply another form of prayer for the Hasidim. The Chassid doesn't regard monetary rewards as the goal of his work. His wealth or poverty is purely a question for God to decide. Should he be rich, it would be a sign of God's grace. But even without riches, the work carries its own reward. The rabbi said, a poor farmer gave his last cents to a loud-mouthed beggar. His wife wondered why he had given their last penny to such an unpleasant person. Why should I be more selective than God, he replied. Just look to whom he gives money. The founder of the Hasidic movement said, I always hoped to enter heaven someday, but my wife died recently. Now there's only one half of me left, and I'm not sure if I'm good enough for heaven. For the Hasidim, wives are indeed their second halves. They participate directly in every aspect of the men's lives outside the synagogue. The women are trained from birth to raise their children in the faith, to help with earning the daily bread, and to share the joy and sorrow of their husbands. Every form of music is a path to God. The wives and daughters of Hasidim learn to serve him in this manner. The rabbi said, a girl was told to marry a young learned man. She stubbornly refused. In her opinion, he wasn't sufficiently practical-minded. She preferred to marry a wealthy man of the world, she said. Her father told her, you remind me of a man who found some pearls. He cooked them in order to have something to eat, but they wouldn't soften up. So he exchanged them for some peas. They got soft. Now, tell me, my daughter, do you want to own pearls or eat peas? The rabbi said, a woman married an absent-minded learned man. His world consisted only of the subject matter he taught. One day, he returned from the mikveh, the ritual bath, without his shirt. So, his wife said, you let someone steal your shirt? No, someone must have exchanged the shirts by mistake, he answered. So where's the other man's shirt, she screamed. Huh? You know, he replied, that other man must really be absent-minded. He forgot to forget his own shirt.
The
rabbi said, in God's wonderful world, we can learn something positive even from the bad. Such as these 6 qualities from the thief. He works day and night. He and his partners love one another. He risks his life for very little return. That which he takes is so little his own that he sells it for a pittance. He is beaten and tormented, yet he rises up again. And he loves his work and wouldn't trade it for any other.
השכל נקרא בשם אימות, הוא מקור למידות. כי אימות או אימות, כמו שהאם, היא מולידה את הילדים, את הבנים, היא המקור שלהם, ככה...
The Hasidic parables and anecdotes also contain important lessons for the daughters. To love God, you must completely love your fellow man. Shortly before a festive holiday, a rabbi sent his students to his greatest enemy, asking them to tell the man something awful about their rabbi. The students refused. The rabbi explained, "After all, it's a holiday. This is the only way I can bring at least a glimmer of happiness into this man's miserable life."
הלב לא מתעורר בלי השכל.